the next part of the day, we'll be talking about a new, very exciting coalition among the nonprofit and academic and companies, food and farming companies, who are creating a future of food, thinking about where sustainability is that North Star guiding us towards that future. We just heard from the Nobel Prize winning World Food Program Executive Director, Governor David Beasley. He talked a lot about sustainability is the only way we can get to that goal of zero hunger, food security. You're going to hear now about this exciting new coalition being launched that we've called MBOLD.
MBOLD is working to accelerate solutions to the most pressing challenges facing food and agriculture, particularly our changing climate and other natural resource challenges, and the world's growing demand for food. The MBOLD coalition of Minnesota-based companies, researchers, and nonprofits has come together to help lead the way to the future of food.
Minnesota is a place like no other when it comes to food and ag. We support big consumer product companies like General Mills and Hormel, but also big agricultural companies like Cargill and Land O'Lakes. When you combine that with people who know a lot about water, companies like Ecolab, but also a leading research institute like the University of Minnesota, nowhere else on earth, nowhere else has the resources that Minnesota has when it comes to solving these problems.
And we're going to do that by, one, being a catalyst for innovation and entrepreneurship, two, by helping find and accelerate solutions to our biggest challenges and provide value to our supply chain stakeholders. Three, we believe that we play a huge role in continuing to attract and retain great workforce and talent to this sector. And then last but not least, playing a vital role in telling our Minnesota leadership story. And together, we believe we can use our reach, our scale, our influence, and our impact to bring big, systemic, lasting change to our sector.
The mission of MBOLD is to make sure that we feed a growing global population, at the same time stewarding the resources of the earth, not only for now, but also for years to come. And it's a mission that really only MBOLD can fulfill because we have the combination of capabilities. Companies have been around a long time in food and ag, but also leading research institutes. And companies and organizations that actually like to collaborate with each other.
For Minnesota, MBOLD means that we are making a statement to the world that solutions to the greatest global challenges in food and agriculture are going to come from this place. And what that means is it means it's going to be more good jobs, more fast growth companies, and more cutting edge research done here. MBOLD is built to get things done and to do a number of really bold, challenging things simultaneously.
We are living in extraordinarily challenging times, and we face challenges that are bigger than any of us can address independently. So one of the things that really gave rise to the creation of the MBOLD Coalition is a recognition that we need to come together to collaborate, to rise to the occasion of the challenges that we face. So this collaboration is a real opportunity for businesses across the food and agriculture sector who are rooted and committed here in Minnesota but have global reach to come together, to think together, to accelerate, to innovate, to really bring together the best minds in the world to tackle big challenges.
I'm excited about the future of MBOLD because, first of all, we're working on things that are really important. I'm also excited because we have the capability to do it. To the extent we prove it here in Minnesota, we have the means to do it everywhere in the world.
We believe that food and agriculture must play a role in nourishing the growing global population. And we need to do that while also preserving the Earth's natural resources for generations to come.
The global future of food and agriculture is here. MBOLD is an initiative of the Greater MSP Partnership. Greater MSP accelerates regional competitiveness and inclusive economic growth through job creation, capital investment, and execution of strategic initiatives.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on this momentous day as we officially launch the MBOLD Coalition. I'm JoAnne Berkenkamp, Managing Director of MBOLD at Greater MSP.
I'm Peter Frosch, the President and CEO of Greater MSP, a partnership of over 300 private and public sector organizations from across the region. Together, we are working to drive inclusive economic growth and create solutions to some of the greatest global challenges. MBOLD is one of the ways we do that.
Today, we're so pleased to launch MBOLD, a new coalition of many of Minnesota's world-class food and agriculture companies, researchers, and nonprofits. Our members include CEOs and other C-suite leaders at companies including General Mills, Target, Cargill, and Land O'Lakes, as well as leading research institutions like the University of Minnesota. You'll get to hear from some of our leaders shortly. Our mission is to accelerate pragmatic solutions and build from Minnesota's unique culture of collaboration and innovation to take on big challenges facing food and agriculture.
It makes sense this effort is born in Minnesota, where food and agriculture is our history, and it's the foundation of our current economy. Minnesota is home to some of the largest food and agriculture companies, and an unparalleled concentration of corporate leadership that no other region in the world can claim. Businesses based here play an outsized role in nourishing our planet, connecting farmers with markets, and driving innovations that are fundamentally shaping the way the world eats. Minnesota is also home to world-class research institutions, crafting solutions to feed a growing global population while protecting the world's natural resource base. Uncertain and serious times such as these are the right time to take bold action that positions our region and state for a new generation of global leadership and enables us to create economic opportunity for all residents of our region.
As MBOLD kicks off, we are prioritizing 5 initial areas of work. First, the MBOLD Coalition is working together to build a more resilient agricultural system rooted in soil health and water stewardship. As we confront the realities of a rapidly changing climate, we must both sharply reduce the emissions in our supply chains and become more resilient as the climate changes. That means working with agricultural producers in new ways to develop more collaborative approaches that enable farmers to profitably adopt practices that build soil health, reduce emissions, sink carbon, and protect our water. From our home base in Minnesota, we will test out new approaches to making these innovations possible and helping them scale up.
Second, a major challenge for the food and agriculture industry is packaging. Whether it's the pallet wrap and shrink wrap used to ship and store food, or various kinds of food packaging or plastic packaging used on farms. Massive amounts of flexible film packaging are used in the US today, and just a fraction of it is recycled. The MBOLD Coalition is committed to changing that by fueling development of a circular economy for flexible films in our region that aims to reduce the use of virgin material, reduce waste, and make sure that these materials get a second life.
Third, talent development. Our region is rich with some of the world's globally significant companies and organizations. Because of that, Minnesota is one of the best places in the world to build a career in food and agriculture and to make a meaningful impact. The MBOLD Coalition is working to recruit, retain, and support a world-class workforce with the talent and commitment to drive innovative solutions to the biggest challenges in food and ag.
Fourth, entrepreneurship and innovation. We know that innovators and entrepreneurs are key for cracking the big challenges that lie ahead. And innovators in Minnesota and around the world look to larger companies to help get their ideas to a global scale. Through the Bold Open Reverse Pitch, MBOLD and our partner, the Agriculture Utilization Research Institute, are reaching out to the best minds in the world to collaborate on key issues like adding value to agricultural products that would otherwise go to waste, expanding the use of cover crops in animal feed production, and efficient ways of financing small and micro farms. The future is open, and it will be shaped by entrepreneurs and innovators willing to take risks by taking on big problems.
Lastly, one of the most urgent challenges we're facing is increased food insecurity in the face of COVID-19. COVID-19 is causing unprecedented economic hardships and accelerating food insecurity in the US and around the world. Now, roughly 1 in 8 Minnesotans are food insecure. The MBOLD Coalition is part of a collaborative effort to find innovative solutions to this pervasive problem. MBOLD leaders will share more about these specific priorities in a panel shortly, but first we have a special guest here to provide his perspective, Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz.
Hello everyone, Governor Tim Walz here. Congratulations on the official launch of MBOLD. As a coalition of Minnesota's food and agricultural leaders, I know you are committed to addressing some of our planet's immediate and long-term challenges: the COVID-19 pandemic, world hunger, food insecurity, and the impact of climate change. Today is World Food Day, a day to raise awareness of these complex challenges and consider how we'll feed a population of an estimated 10 billion people by the year 2050. The MBOLD Coalition will play a leading role in answering that important question. And it should surprise no one that this important initiative is based right here in Minnesota. We're an agricultural powerhouse, consistently ranked as one of the top states in the production of high-quality ag commodities that are in demand locally and around the globe. The ag sector isn't just limited to farms. It's a broad and rich sector that supports more than 430,000 jobs throughout the state, from growers and producers to food processing to manufacturing. We also have world-renowned corporate leadership and first-class research facilities working together to find innovative solutions to worldwide food production problems. During the COVID-19 global health pandemic, many of us had time to think about what is truly important to us, our basic needs. One of those basic needs that we often took for granted and that many go without is food. It gives me great pride to know that you, the members of MBOLD, will work together to build a future that makes our food system stronger to help ensure that basic human right for all. To all the members of this coalition, corporations, universities, researchers, and organizations, congratulations, and thank you for your leadership as Minnesota continues to focus on the future of food.
Thank you, Governor Walz. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to several MBOLD leaders who will share more about MBOLD's mission to accelerate solutions to big challenges. Our panel today includes both of our MBOLD co-chairs, Jeff Harmening, CEO of General Mills, and Steph Lundquist, President of Food and Beverage at Target. We also have Joan Gabel, President of the University of Minnesota, and Sonya Roberts, President of the Salt Group at Cargill. This panel will be moderated by Minnesota Public Radio talk show host Angela Davis. Take it away, Angela.
So, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this discussion. As a Minnesotan, I am so proud of Minnesota's leadership on so many issues. And, you know, we have a long history of coming together to try to take on big challenges here in Minnesota. Today, I'm even prouder to speak with some of our region's most illustrious leaders in food and agriculture as they launch the new MBOLD Coalition. Jeff, Steph, Sonya, and Joan, thanks for joining me today, and let's dive right into this. Okay, so Steph and Jeff, you are both co-chairs of MBOLD, and Jeff, you have been on this journey of developing the MBOLD Coalition from the early days, and under your leadership, I'm told that the group has really embraced a mission that is focused on the twin challenges of climate and sustainability, and the issue of how a global population can be fed on a sustainable basis by 2050. So Jeff, can you tell us why here and now?
Well, thanks. We have been on a mission for a while, and I would tell you, why do we choose this path to begin with? It's because, we really need to feed a planet of soon to be 10 billion people, and we needed to do it in a way that's going to be sustainable and friendly to the earth. And we have both of those challenges in front of us. And anytime you have a challenge that's as important as this, it kind of gives you energy to work on it. But you also realize that no one company or one business or one university can accomplish something that big and complex on their own. So what you need is a coalition of the willing and the capable to come together to address these issues. And in the Twin Cities, we have that in the CPG space, the ag space, the university space. So I feel great about that. And why now? Now is the time. We've lost half of our topsoil over the last 50 years or so here in the U.S. And if we don't, we'll lose the other 50%. And so now is the time for us to address these big and complex challenges.
Steph and Jeff, what are the biggest challenges ahead of MBOLD, and why is MBOLD positioned so well to help drive leadership from Minnesota? Steph, let's hear from you.
At MBOLD, we really believe that the future of food and ag must, as Jeff mentioned, nourish a growing global population. while also protecting and preserving, our Earth's natural resource base for generations to come. And so we believe we must and need to do both. And here in Minnesota, we have a globally leading cluster of businesses, researchers, and food and egg producers, and therefore we play a vital role in making that future a reality. And we believe, as Jeff said, that we're stronger doing that together than we are alone. And so MBOLD's mission is all about identifying and accelerating solutions to our biggest challenges that we face. And that's why we've come together in this coalition, and we really aim to find really pragmatic solutions and develop strategies against those solutions in a way that we can scale them up and have really broad impact in areas that we have something unique to offer the world.
And Jeff, what would you say about some of the biggest challenges the MBOLD coalition faces?
The challenge is that what we're looking at doing is big and complex, but I'm confident we can achieve what we want to, because we have a tremendous amount of capable companies, the likes of which is hard to replicate in other parts of the world. We have, ag companies like Cargill and Land O'Lakes, and big CPG companies like Schwann's and General Mills, food retailers like Target, and a leading research institute like the University of Minnesota. And so when I mentioned earlier about, a coalition of the capable, there's nowhere else in the world that has that kind of collection and diversity of talent when it comes to food and ag. And then those folks have to be willing to work together. And normally it's tough to get people to work together, but it's interesting because Minnesota has always had and continues to have a group of companies and government and university that like to collaborate and work together, which is exactly what's required to tackle some of these big challenges.
Joan, the University of Minnesota has been a key driver of MBOLD since the start, and it brings a critical perspective on Minnesota's leadership in the food and agriculture space, and a deep bench around farm research and rural engagement, ag tech, and so many other issues. What do you see as the role of MBOLD in fostering new kinds of collaboration between the university sector, the corporate sector, ag producers, and others to take on big challenges like climate change?
So to build upon what Stephanie and Jeff just described, because we have this very unique spectrum across food and ag in terms of corporate leadership, commercial leadership, and then research leadership through the university, we're really able to explore some of the biggest questions of our day in fully faceted, multidimensional ways. It is an unusually multifaceted, but also collegial collaboration that positions us to look at really hard questions that we're in a very special position to answer.
I want to dive into some of the particular challenges MBOLD is currently taking on. I know that catalyzing innovation in food and ag is at the heart of MBOLD's work, and MBOLD partners with the Agricultural Utilization Research Institute to host the BOLD Open Reverse Pitch. The BOLD Open enables Minnesota food and agricultural companies, farm commodity groups, and others to lift up key challenges and build bridges with innovators and entrepreneurs around the world who are looking to scale up bright ideas. Why is the MBOLD Coalition so committed in innovation and entrepreneurship in food and agriculture?
We have some big challenges to solve, right? And so if you think about the growing population, the fact that we're moving to the middle class, the evolving consumer preferences that are changing, all of our food system, the security issues that we've got, we need a collaboration. As Jeff and Stephanie both talked about, and it's a public, private, startups as well, and research institutions all together to help figure this out. And we have the potential, when we do this reverse pitch, to actually solve real problems. I've seen what's possible when you put together a large company like ourselves, like a legacy company, right? We bring really smart people, and we bring a lot of infrastructure and resources in place. We bring also some good customer and consumer relationships, but the entrepreneurs, they bring also really smart people, and they bring agility, and they are also risk takers, and they bring a tremendous amount of passion. And so you want all those together, and I think together we can solve really big problems. And then I think lastly is that we have to, as legacy companies, think about, do we want to be disrupted, or do we want to disrupt ourselves? And BOLD Open allows us to really see some of these startups and spend some time with them and really understand what they're working on. And it allows us to really think differently about innovation and what's possible within our own companies. And so we have the ability to transform not just ourselves, but also an industry. And it's fun to do that through the innovation and entrepreneurship.
Steph, how can a platform like the Bold Open benefit businesses as well as innovators who are looking to gain access to bigger companies that can help their ideas go to scale?
Well, we know that through a platform like Bold Open, that close collaboration with innovators and entrepreneurs around the world is critical to the mission we have at MBOLD of solving big challenges and bringing those entrepreneurs and innovators together with large companies and with research organizations. And we need each other in order to foster solutions. So we invite that creative spark that we get from those innovators and entrepreneurs, and in turn, through the Bold Open, we are able to pair them with these large-scale companies that have big scale, big reach, big impact, and we can be a catalyst for deeper ties, great connection, and the key is really bringing those great ideas to light and positioning them for very broad impact.
Jeff, another high priority for MBOLD, I'm told, is catalyzing improvements in soil health and water stewardship on agricultural land. And I know General Mills itself is making a major push on regenerative agriculture. I appreciate that. I grew up on a farm, I'd like to mention. Why do you think soil health is such a critical issue as the world looks toward a climate that's becoming more erratic and unpredictable?
Yeah, thank you. And General Mills has been interested in regenerative agriculture for a while, but so is Cargill, and so is the University of Minnesota, and so is Target. And what's great about MBOLD is that we bring these people who are really mission driven together. And on this topic, we all agree, good soil health is going to be critical, because having good soil health will help us address climate change, at the same time help us feed a growing planet. And how does it do that? Well, agriculture is a significant source of greenhouse gas emissions, but the healthier the soil, the more carbon that gets sequestered or stays in that soil. And so by having good regenerative agriculture practices and soil health, we can actually reduce the amount of carbon in the air and put into the soil. But not only that, the great thing about having good soil is that it also helps to retain more water, and it helps retain more nutrients in the soil. And so there's a chance, you said you grew up on a farm, the other thing, all this has to be great for farmers. I mean, if it's great for humanity, it's great for the climate, but it's bad for farmers, it's not going to work. But we fundamentally believe that having good soil health is also going to be good for farmers, because the better the soil, the less water they'll have to put on it, the more resistant it is to droughts, the more resistant it is to heavy rains, and the fewer pesticides. So economically, if we do this right, it should also be a win for farmers. But no one company, as you can tell, can do it by its own. General Mills can't do it by itself as much as we care. University of Minnesota can't do it by itself. We all have to work together in conjunction with farmers to make it happen. For me, that's why I'm excited. It's a big challenge. It's an important one. And it's one that we really do all have to work together if we're going to make progress, and we actually have to make progress.
Steph, why is it important to MBOLD and its coalition members to help create a more circular economy around these single-use packaging materials?
Thanks, Angela. Yeah, massive amounts of flexible film packaging is produced every year, both within and beyond the food and ag sectors. And only a fraction of what's produced is actually recycled in the US. So the MBOLD Coalition is committed to changing that by fueling development of a circular economy around flexible films in collaboration with stakeholders across our region. As a major retailer, we're committed to reducing our packaging footprint. And at Target, we're really excited to work with our colleagues here and to make the upper Midwest a real leader in creating a circular economy for the materials, to make sure that they do get recycled and that they are turned into something new.
Finally, MBOLD is launching amidst historic challenges with the COVID-19 pandemic, driving unprecedented disruptions in food supply chains around the world. and a surge in food insecurity, as we know, locally and globally. Sonya, how is MBOLD looking at food insecurity issues, and how can a coalition like this help with that?
Every member of our coalition is mission driven to feed people, right? We get up every day thinking about that. How do we take food from where it's grown or where there's abundance to a place of deficit or where it's most needed? And so if you think about the World Food Program projects that COVID-19 will cause hunger to double by the end of the year, so leaving about 265 million people hungry. And right now, 1 in 8 Minnesotans are food insecure. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. That's just not acceptable. And that actually can grow over the next 12 months. So what we've been doing in Minnesota here, MBOLD has, is that we've been looking at a data-driven, all-hands-on-deck approach, working with Governor Walz, other state leaders, some charities across the state, and many of the companies on a comprehensive plan on what we can do. So using predictive analytics to get ahead of that, and then actually starting to partner with technology and innovative solutions to figure out how we get ahead of it so that we don't have that number growing. Because it's not acceptable to have that many Minnesotans going hungry.
Jeff, I'm going to give you the final word here. What is your final high-level takeaway for our listeners?
You know, MBOLD is a lot of great organizations working together. And if you look at MBOLD, we can bring leading CPG companies in food, leading ag companies in food, a leading research institute in food, all together at the same place at the same time. And we can be a hotbed for innovation that we can spread globally because we all have global reach, reaching more than 125 countries and more than 250 billion in sales. And so we feel like we have the responsibility to do the things we're doing, and we're energized by the things we're doing. And to be honest, we're not sure that anywhere else in the world can do it better than we can if we're willing to work together and put our mind to the mission.
I love seeing people work together. I love people who are focused on solutions. I want to thank all of you for the work that you're doing here in Minnesota and globally. And I really do appreciate your leadership as Minnesota helps tackle some of the biggest challenges we're seeing now facing food and agriculture today. Thank you again for your time. And to our viewers, please be sure to go to this website. It is mbold.org to learn more.